welcome everyone. A very special interview for the Britball Day, which I'm sure you are all enjoying. Part of that is that we're delighted to bring in the Lions quarterback. Also, if you are a Britball follower, you may know him from his time at the Kent Exiles. But George Reynolds, welcome you in, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. All things considered. But interested to get. I suppose you're quite well known in the Britball community, so it'd be quite nice to get to know a bit more about you. And I'm sure there's people out there as well that would like to know a bit more about you as well. So let's start off at the beginning, George. Let's tell us a bit more about yourself. Obviously, in the early days of how you got into American football and how you kind of come across the Kent Exiles.
So I've always been a fan of football, so I've watched it growing up. Quite a big Colts fan, so every Sunday I sit down and watch the Colts, see how they do. And my dad used to play for the Kent Exiles, so he got me into the team. He told me that they were a good club to go to. So I started off about 6 or 7 years ago. I went down to a flag practice, joined in. And from there, I just worked my way up through the ranks, played youth football up to junior football, trained with the adults. And it's just been a great program to help me develop as a player.
Why the Colts?
I have had a great opportunity of meeting Andrew Luck a few times, and I just loved him as a player and as a person. And he really inspired me to keep going as a quarterback and work to reach my goals. And I just always have followed them since. Even now that he's retired, I love the team and I watch them every week.
It'd be a bit different having gunslinger Philip Rivers at quarterback this season, but we'll maybe get to that a bit later on. But obviously, yourself, you play quarterback. Has it always been quarterback for you, or has he maybe tried some other things, or did the quarterback just come straight off the bat?
When I was younger, like around the house, I used to throw with my dad, and I always said I wanted to be a quarterback. But my first session at the Exiles, I turned up and decided to play receiver. So I turned up like the other players, just thought I'd play a bit of receiver, thought I could catch. Like every receiver, thought I was really good. And then I got moved to quarterback when the starting quarterback at the flag was away for a while. And they put me there and were like, can you throw? And I started throwing. And then from there on, I just worked my way up as quarterback, realized that was the position that I loved and always wanted to play.
It's funny how you kind of find your position out of chance, isn't it? But obviously, for those that maybe haven't watched you play, do you maybe have a style that you can kind of translate to an NFL player? Is there any like playing styles that Andrew Luck that you try and play like? Are you like a pocket guy? Are you a scrambler and like a Kyler Murray and get out of the pocket and make things happen? What would you say your style is as a quarterback?
Having watched Andrew Luck and trained with him when I was younger, I always tried to model my game on him. I tried to be a pocket passer first, but I can make plays if I do have to get out of the pocket and go running. So people like Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, I love to watch where they can make plays with their arm, but also with their feet if they get out of the pocket.
And so obviously, let's talk about kind of how when you played your first game. Obviously, you say you played a bit of flag first, but let's talk a bit about more on the contact side of things. So when you first kind of put on the helmet in your first competitive game, how did that feel? What was the adrenaline like?
It was insane. It's a big jump from not being allowed to be hit, but it was something that I loved and just embraced. And I feel like the most competitive game I've played in, which really set me on my path to like being a better quarterback, was my first game for Great Britain, where I realized the speed at 11-a-side is so much different, and the sizes of players and how much you have to think playing the quarterback position. That really made me want to develop as a quarterback so I could be great at that position and great in them situations where it is 11-a-side and I have to read the field, read the defense and make the D-line miss.
Sure. And obviously part of being a quarterback is getting hit. When you received your first hit with your helmet, and what was that like? What was your thoughts in your head as you were getting up off the turf?
It was definitely a shock because growing up I played soccer a lot, so it wasn't the most physical of sports. So it was a shock to get hit, but I don't mind it. I like getting hit. I don't mind it. It's I go into games and I'm not afraid of getting hit. I can run the ball. I can stand in the pocket and make throws. So that's what I kind of pride myself on in my game. I'm not a scared quarterback. I like to step into my throws and make the plays. So it was fun. the first time, first
it's certainly
experience getting hit.
interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the first time you get hit, even whether regardless of any position, I think that's when you kind of know whether the game is for you. So luckily, obviously for you, that didn't deter you from carrying on. But obviously throughout your journey from flag, and obviously when you were young, and obviously no doubt you get loads of advice from loads of different people because it's through the people that you've met. What would you say was the best bit of advice that you've been given so far?
I feel like when you get to coach, being coached by high-level coaches or players, so Andrew Luck and Quincy Avery, the one thing they do like to tell you is that it is on you to make yourself better. And that just made me think I have got to put the work in, and I have got to be the guy that pushes myself. And through these coaches, I've learned that the quarterback position is not something you could just play as just go out on the field and throw the ball. It has to be mechanical. You have to know how to play the position, and you have to be smart. So it just made me want to work every day, looking at film, learning the playbook, working on my mechanics, my footwork, just to get better so I know I can be the best player I can be.
Obviously, part of your job, obviously, you hand off the ball and you're thrown to the wide receivers and slash tight ends. Has there any been advice given to you with regards to how to build up chemistry with wide receivers, or is it just a case of just reps and understanding, your teammates and what they're doing and their tendencies?
Yeah, definitely. There has to be chemistry built up. Otherwise, you aren't going to be on the same page, because every receiver has different speeds in and out of breaks, different straight line speed. So I think the best thing you can do is just work with them, go to a park, get in routes, and it just really builds up that chemistry. If you keep throwing to the same person over and over, you're going to learn how they play. And it just makes it so much easier when you step onto a game field and you can trust them to be in the right place at the right time for them to catch the ball.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And is it difficult to transitioning between, obviously, when you play for the Ken Exiles at quarterback and then going to the GB Lions? Obviously, you're not going to have as much time with the GB Lions guys.
Yeah, it was a shock, because at the Exiles I trained with them week in, week out.
Yeah.
To go to the GB Lions, where we had a training camp once a month, and it was a lot more fast speed and aggressive football being played at that level. So as much as it was different to throw to them, I also had to be quicker in my throws and quicker in my reads, because I had the big D lineman coming at me. So I had to be a smarter football player.
Sure.
And really just learn to be on the right page as the receivers as quick as possible to make the team that I was playing with successful.
Yeah, and obviously, you've been around a few different things, including the NFL Academy, which has just been kind of introduced into this country. That's obviously given you a few opportunities to go and do a few cool things as well, including the Pro Bowl from last year. What was that experience like? And when you were told that was coming up, what was your how big was the smile across your face?
Yeah, when I found out, it was pure excitement. It was a great opportunity, because I knew I would be able to go out there and compete with high school football players over there, which, as the NFL Academy was set up to do, we want to be able to replicate a high school situation and do what they do over there and get players into college, which is the ultimate goal for everyone who goes to the academy. So when I went out there, I knew I had to, as one of the 8 players selected, I knew I had to make the academy proud and paint us in a good way. So when I went out there, I was thrilled to be competing with them guys. And I just knew I had to put my best foot forward. And when I came second, I felt proud. I was disappointed I didn't win, but I definitely was proud to do that for the academy.
Absolutely. Obviously, you've been posting a few things on your Twitter at George Reynolds _ as well. So anyone that wants to go and check out all the fun times that George has been having, make sure you go and give him a follow and give him a little look on his timeline as well. But obviously, also seen that you've been given advice from Kirk Cousins. Obviously, did you met him at the Pro Bowl, didn't you?
Yes. So after the Pro Bowl practice for the players, we got to meet some of them on the field, and I was lucky enough to talk to Kirk Cousins, and he told me to keep working. And as much as we are different to the high school players over there, we are in some ways the same. We are all working towards the same goal, and it is only us that we can choose whether we proceed to the next level. We have to make sure we're working hard and making ourselves better so we can get to colleges in America.
Sure, and then obviously you've been privileged enough to have a coaching session from, like you mentioned, Quincy Avery, who was the quarterback coach with Deshaun Watson. How, just a point on coaching. Obviously, you've met a few different coaches through your team at Kent and the GB Lions, and then obviously with Quincy there. Is there a big difference in there in terms of, I won't say quality, but in terms of maybe experience? And is the Britball side of things a bit far away from that standard yet, or how close is it?
I've been lucky enough to work with very good coaches for my whole career. From when I was at the Exiles, I worked with Coach Zach Ritchie, who has been a very good coach to me. He learned a lot from Quincy Avery because Quincy Avery does YouTube videos and stuff. So I was lucky enough to be exposed to that sort of coaching from a young age. And he really helped me learn the mechanical side of a quarterback and how to make myself the best one I can be. And then I was lucky enough to work with Quincy Avery, who his experience with Deshaun Watson and college QBs going into the draft is higher level. So being able to learn as much as I can from him was an amazing experience. And now heading on to the academy, I've got Coach Jerome Allen, who has been one of the best quarterbacks coaches I've worked with. He has helped me learn the game in such a new way that I know I can be a quarterback at the next level. He changed me from being just a quarterback to being a smart quarterback and being complete, and knowing that I can step into an 11-a-side scenario and be able to perform how I'm supposed to be. So I'm lucky enough to have worked with very good coaches across the years.
I suppose as well, it must give you great confidence knowing that you've had access to coaches that are teaching people like Deshaun Watson, because you know how far it kind of puts it all into perspective, really. Stepping out for the first time playing flag, and then contacts to then getting coaching from guys that are coaching guys in the NFL. I suppose that gives you a lot of confidence and helps with the motivation to progress.
Yeah, it definitely does. And the biggest confidence boost is when they want to teach you. So if Quincy Avery is going out of his way to tell me something to do, that just gives me the confidence to know I can reach that next level because these guys are helping me to get there. So it just makes me want to work harder and to get there.
Obviously, working harder and getting there is quite difficult at the moment with Corona. So there's no going down the park and throwing tomatoes just yet. But obviously, I've seen quite a lot of videos on your Twitter with your target practice. Was quite impressive yesterday. What I saw, and I say, yeah, accuracy. You've been very accurate quarterback from what I've seen so far. But obviously, being in the back garden's a lot different from being in the park. How have you kind of kept your skills and your mind focused on what's needed? Obviously, I've seen you throwing to your dad as well. Is he got all the makings for a wide receiver?
Yeah, he's actually got very impressive hands. So it's good to have someone like that in the garden, just so I can keep my work up, because this is such a hard time for everyone. And I'd love to be out on the football field, but that's just not possible right now. So I'm making sure I'm doing everything I can, from being out in the garden, throwing passes to him or into the net, making sure I focus on my footwork and good form. I feel like in this time, I've changed the form of my throw to improve it so much more. I'm just taking this time to look on the little things to do. Yeah. And then also doing workouts every day. I've started yoga. I'm just trying to do things to get my mind and my body right. So when I get back to the academy, I'm in the best place to move forward and get scholarships for America.
Sure. So would you say then that actually the coronavirus and the stay home kind of ethos that we've got at the moment has probably helped your game rather than a hindrance? Because I know there'll be some people out there that are thinking, this coronavirus, if I'm not doing anything right, or I'm not playing against people, I'm not having match practice, could hurt them in the long run. Are you concerned about that at all?
No, I saw this as an opportunity for me to take time out, because at the academy, we spend a lot of time focusing on team reps and situational reps that I sometimes disregard form over the actual plays. So I feel like I've taken this time as an opportunity to work on myself as a quarterback rather than being in situations. I'm taking the time to work on my footwork and my arm angles and the velocity I can get on throws, just to be able to get back and be able to apply this to make myself an even better quarterback.
Obviously, you mentioned a minute ago about obviously getting to scholarships, and part of that is obviously making applications to colleges and putting out tape for people to go see. Obviously, a name that come up is Tom Lemming. Is it nice when people go and of his ilk go and watch your videos and make a comment on it, and then obviously reach out to you?
Yeah, it's definitely a confidence boost. So I had a phone call from Tom Lemming 2 days ago, And he told me that he's going to be using me as a member of his published magazine in early July, which looks at the top hundreds of recruits in America. And that to me is just a confidence boost, knowing that I can be put in such a level with the best athletes in America, and knowing that any little exposure. So this will help me massively, because this magazine will go to colleges in America. And I just know that from this, I can make the most of these opportunities, send my film out to teams. And although it's quite like a game of luck, whether the college is going to see your film, I know that I have the skills, and I know I will be able to prove myself to coaches if they give me the chance.
No, absolutely. And so it sounds like you've got your head in the right space, and you're very determined. So obviously it's not all fun and games. Obviously there's sacrifices that have had to be made. Any like kind of hard sacrifices that you've had to make to kind of get to where you are and where you want to go?
I feel like time is a big sacrifice. So at the academy, I have a lot of days where I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning and getting home at 9:00 at night. But these are sacrifices players at the academy are willing to make. We all want to get to our goals. So however we do it, we want to put this sacrifice and this work in. So a lot of time will get put into this. I spend weekends watching film, but it's what I want to do. So at the end of the day, I'm prepared to put this work in to make what I want, make my dreams come true.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's if you could meet kind of one person you haven't met, maybe in the American football industry, who would it kind of be, dead or alive? Any fans out there?
I think Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, and he has so much knowledge from the years he's played. He's over 40 now, and he has so much knowledge built up, and he's one of the most successful players to ever play. And just being able to meet him and learn even one thing from him would be amazing, and hopefully help my game improve.
Okay, cool. That kind of covers everything. Just a note on the NFL Academy. Obviously, there's going to be people out there that don't really know too much about the NFL Academy, apart from maybe what's on social media. You just maybe want to kind of give a 30 seconds or a minute gloss over on what it's about and the aims of it, and kind of the day-to-day, what you do with the NFL Academy.
Mm-hmm. So the Academy is a high school situation. So the athletes go to school every day. We learn in our classes, we choose our courses. And then 3 days a week, we train on the field and in the gym. So on the field, our typical session, we warm up, we go through offensive periods, defensive periods, 7-on-7s, team. And it's just a great opportunity to like make ourselves better. Because I feel like in the Britball scenario, there isn't enough time for us all to train 3 times a week with everything that's going on as a club. So this just creates that opportunity where you can train 3 days a week and hopefully more. Like I can train on the weekends. I know I go and train on the weekends, and it just makes you a better player. So the gym as well, which is something that again is quite hard for teams to replicate. And having the gym built for the academy, purpose built for us athletes, has really helped me reach weight gains, strength gains. So it's really helpful, just the whole situation.
Do you think that the NFL Academy will hopefully bleed into the Britball game a little bit in the sense that more academies might pop up, and some teams and maybe universities will look at it and say, okay, this is what we need to help build the Britball game first and foremost, but obviously then help people that do want to play American football in this country to be better by the time that they get to someone at your age, and so just generally elevate the level of Britball.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like a foundation for what we can do as a country to move on, and like progress in this situation, like the football scenarios. And I think a lot of teams will take into account how we train and how often we train. So universities may train more times a week. They may have set gym times and gym schedules to like improve the weight gains and strength gains of the players, because we as a country are behind in football to America, obviously. Yeah. But this is the next step forwards to make us as good as we can be. So players, young players, well, I hope we're inspiring them to work hard so they can come to academies like this and reach their goals as well. So I think it's good inspiration and a good foundation for what can be in football in the UK.
No, I certainly agree. It's be exciting to see kind of how it plays out. Obviously, the NFL Academy, the kind of the first cornerstone of what kind of Britball needs to elevate to. Because even other teams are kind of in Europe, we're a tiny little bit behind there as well. So hopefully, again, we can kind of catch those guys up a little bit. Okay, a couple of fun questions, obviously now for you, George. Obviously, Neil is your famous dad. Obviously, everyone that loves NFL knows all about him. What was it like being the son of Neil? Obviously, it's nice that he gets to play with you in the back garden as well, but does he spend quite a lot of time away kind of doing his NFL stuff, obviously inside the huddle, being in the studio on Sundays as well? What was it kind of be like being the son of a TV?
Yeah, he definitely spends a lot of time focused on the sport, but for me, that's really helped me in this situation. It's encouragement for me. He knows what I'm going through. Like, he knows the situations and he can help me. And it's just great having someone around who I can talk to about football who's as passionate, if not more passionate than me. So it's really good.
And if it doesn't work out for you, it kind of on the field, do you fancy a TV career? If obviously your dad's got a few tips to hand on over to you.
Yeah, definitely. That would work out perfectly for me. If I don't become a player, TV career would be great.
I don't suppose you fancy all the Twitter bombardment of the London game tickets. I don't. That's a downside.
No, I'll leave that to him.
Yeah, pretty much an expert these days at that. Does he, in terms of obviously being obviously a dad and obviously a guy that wants to see you progress, what's he like in terms of keeping you on track? Is he quite a disciplinarian, or is he comfortable with that you've got it in hand?
I think my whole family are very encouraging of me, and they support me through this whole process, and they want me to succeed. But I feel like I'm very persistent myself, and I know what I want to do, and I want to do this for me. I want to go to college in America because it's my dream to play in front of a big crowd. So I make sure I stay on track. He helps me through it, but overall, I know where I want to be, and that just makes me want to work hard.
Yeah, no, certainly sound like you've got your head screwed on, you're focused and determined to know where you want to go and what you want to do. So it's just great. Obviously, you've got access to the people that you need to as well if you need any guidance. Okay, just before we get out of here, then George, a couple of listener questions. I've got one here from Henry Rowland, who I assume is a friend of yours at the academy, because his question is who's your favourite target. So I assume he's a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's my tight end, and he's going to want me to say him. Which he was my biggest target this year. Most passes went to him, so I'll let him have that one. Henry Rowland is my favourite target.
You've been suckered in there, George. You've bowed to the pressure of peer pressure. What's your as a quarterback? What's your favourite throw?
Yeah,
do you like throwing over the middle? Do you like throwing towards the sideline? Do you have a particular route that you like throwing to?
I think every quarterback's favourite route is a deep fade or a go. It's just a touchdown route, isn't it? So everyone wants to throw that in the game, take a few shots. I remember my touchdown against Norway for GB. My touchdown in that game, one of my two, was a fade, and I remember it being a great play. And it just makes you feel good when you complete that over the middle, over the sideline. It's a great play.
Yeah, so any completed pass for positive yardage, or say any touchdown, generally is probably a good one. But there you go. But get me out on this. And Michael Lavery, one of the guys here at the Full 10 Yards, has asked, well,
definitely.
If you did make it to the NFL, any particular head coach that you'd like to work under, or you're not too bothered?
Like I said with Tom Brady, as much as he's harsh, Bill Belichick is one of the smartest coaches to ever be in the NFL, and probably the smartest. So being able to play under someone like that would really improve me as a player, and I know I could do successful things with him. So that would be like a dream position to be in, because I just know he would make me the best player I can be.
Yeah, so it certainly feels like the way the way you come across, the way you put your work in as well. I think Bill Belichick would probably like to have you as well at some point. So here's to hoping, George. But obviously, thank you so much for half hour of your time there for Britball Day, coming on and chatting to us about obviously your journey. Obviously, right in the middle, bang in the middle of that at the moment. So excited to see how that all plays out, and obviously wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Full 10 yards. So just a quick, obviously, presence on social media. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, and how can they do so?
Twitter, George Reynolds _, or my Instagram, George _Reynolds 10. So get in my DMs, any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Lovely stuff. George, obviously, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. And say all the best, and hopefully we'll speak very soon.
Thank you.